In this video lesson, we'll review the step-by-step procedure for executing a go-around. The airspeeds and settings shown here are for use with a Cessna 172 in a simulated environment. Please refer to your aircraft's pilot operating handbook for the most accurate information. A go-around procedure involves scanning several instruments and completing a few configurations. For this reason, it requires a significant amount of control and splitting of attention. As well, because go-arounds may need to be executed unexpectedly and may involve safety of flight while close to the ground, it should be considered an emergency procedure. You will need to complete memory items from a checklist without hesitation. This is the go-around procedure checklist. Again, please refer to your POH for the most accurate information. The red items shown here are your memory items. Upon determining the need to go around, you will apply full power and then pull back to maintain your best angle of climb speed. In this case, we'll use 60 knots. And if you have flaps extended greater than 10 degrees, you'll need to reduce your flap setting to 10 degrees. After you have established a climb and are safely away from the ground, you will need to accelerate to 80 knots by pushing forward on the controls and then remove your flaps to 0. Climb along the runway heading unless there's another aircraft or obstacle in the way, and then re-enter the traffic pattern as you would otherwise. Let's look at how this procedure unfolds as it relates to the instruments. You immediately apply full power and reduce flaps. At the same time, you need to pull back and maintain an airspeed. This requires splitting your attention across a large amount of the instrument panel. You'll also need to maintain runway heading if you're on final approach. So what we have here is we have the flap handle and power application both in the bottom right portion of the instrument panel, and then we have an airspeed control and heading indication more up in the top left. So your eyes are really going to have to move back and forth to make these things work procedurally accurately. So that becomes the challenge, is being able to split from the bottom right and the top left and keeping your scan while in a potentially low altitude environment. So once you've completed your memory items and are established in the climb, then you're going to use the airspeed indicator to transition to 80 knots while controlling your heading. And then you reduce flaps and make sure that you don't lose your vertical momentum by cross-checking against the VSI. So again, here we're going to be changing configuration using the flap handle and having to maintain an airspeed while also monitoring our heading and monitoring our vertical speed. So there's a lot of things going on here, and your eyes are going to be having to jump around the instrument panel quite a bit. So your scan, or the ability to get fixated, becomes a little bit challenging within the go-around, especially, again, if you're near the ground and you're having to do this procedure unexpectedly. So just keep in mind, your scan has to be kept up, and that's why we do this procedure over and over and over again in practice. As you exit the procedure, you'll be climbing back to the traffic pattern altitude and re-entering the pattern. So here you're going to level off using the altimeter primarily and the VSI as backup, and then reduce the power back to a low cruise speed of 2100, and then just fly the traffic pattern using your directional gyro to establish headings and the altitude indicator and attitude indicators to assist with managing bank angles in your turn. So in the end of this procedure, as you re-enter the traffic pattern, you're having to transition from that high pitch angle and a bunch of different configuration changes to get right back to the normal traffic pattern. So one of the best things that you can do whenever you have these kinds of procedures is to quote unquote slow down. And that means using your power and bring that back to 2100 RPM. Now in these kinds of situations, it's fine to just get that power back and then worry about making it perfectly 2100 RPM. So one of the things that happens when people are doing these maneuvers is that as they reduce their power, they will end up fixating on that tachometer down in the bottom right-hand corner. Even though it is a primary instrument for this procedure, they'll try to get it exactly to 2100 RPM and just just get it somewhere closer where you're slowing down and you're not having excess power that's going to turn into a climb. It's just going to make you have to react and have some instability with this procedure. And then, keep your wings level. You can use your directional gyro for that. Main thing, though, is you just don't want to blow through your altitudes. You're in the traffic, or we're assuming you're in the traffic pattern at this point in time. So there could be other aircraft out there. There could be other turns coming up. So again, as much attention as you can put outside and communicate and just quickly look at these things and get them close, really, really good. And so that is the go around procedure and some of where you'll be paying attention to within it. Hope you found this helpful, and good luck with your practice.